So Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 just got a brand new website, this being the ARG for the game where we can learn clues about the monster and get early photos of Chapter 4. But with these brand new Chapter 4 ARG photos, we actually get a new reveal about the Nightmare Critters, so that's the first photo I'm going to be going over today. And that's not all, because Saturday was Poppy Playtime Chapter 1's 3-year anniversary, so Mob Entertainment's Twitter account revealed lots of behind the scenes, unused content for the game, and a lot more. So this entire ARG started when Maggie Mako was first revealed on Twitter, and because she's the last smiling critter, we now have to move on to the next step in the Chapter 4 hype, being the ARG. And it gave us this website where if you would enter certain codes, it would give you a bunch of images, and so far we've gotten a ton. But first I just want to talk about the home screen for this website, because in the background we can see 3 certain colors, red, blue, and yellow, and Mob Entertainment has been hinting at this color code for months now, and I think I know what it means. Obviously, the Nightmare Critters will have a big role in Chapter 4, and if we think of their colors, we have a red one, Simon Smoke, a blue one, Maggie Mako, and a yellow one, Icky Licky. Icky Licky is yellow and black, but he's the closest we had to yellow. So I think what this means is that those 3 characters are going to be the most important in Chapter 4. I'm pretty sure everyone expected Maggie Mako to be important because she was revealed last. And around this same time a year ago, Catnap was revealed last and he was the main villain of Chapter 3. And I'm sure there's going to be other villains, not just these 3 Nightmare Critters. But anyways, what's the first photo we have today? Well, here it is, and at first it may just look super confusing and it might just look like a bunch of random colors put together, but if we really break down the image, we can see a lot. In the back, I'm sure that has to be a tail, and these things at the bottom have to be legs, and this thing at the top is a head. So to me, this looks like a bigger body version of one of the Nightmare Critters. And if you don't know what the term bigger body means in Poppy Playtime, basically, this version of Catnap was in the cartoon and it's the smaller version, and this version we saw in the game was the bigger body. Which one of the Nightmare Critters this actually is, I don't really know, because this photo doesn't really reveal a lot. But in this next one, we have a photo that looks super similar, but it's in black and white only. And this looks like another bigger body version of one of the Nightmare Critters. And for this one, I actually have a pretty good guess on who it could be, Baba Chops. And the reason I think that is because in the front we see something that looks like hair, and this image is black and gray, being exactly Baba Chops' colors. So maybe she'll also be one of the main characters in Chapter 4. But next, we actually have some audio recordings from the ARG, and they're from cameras 1, 3, and 4. We don't have a camera 2 for some reason, but we'll probably get that in the future. But anyways, here's what we hear in camera 1. Here's what we hear in camera 3. And this is what we hear in camera 4. Now what I really want to focus on here is camera 3, because in it we hear a strange roaring sound, and that could be our first little glimpse of the audio and what the Chapter 4 main villain actually sounds like. Maybe this is a slowed version of the noise of their jump scare. And in camera 1, it sounds like we just hear something fall on the floor, and camera 4 we don't really hear anything at all except for a small noise. But in the next photo we have this letter, and it reveals something huge about Chapter 4, so let's go over it. So Elliot Ludwig is one of the most important characters in Poppy Playtime. He's one of the higher-ups at Playtime Co., and he's accepting someone into the Young Geniuses program, something we've never heard of before in this game. But with this next photo, we get to learn a lot more about it. And in this letter, we can actually see the logo of this brand new Young Geniuses program, and it says, "Ring ring, calling all whiz kids, smarty pants, quick-witted thinkers, and brainiacs, it's Elliot Ludwig on the phone. Playtime Co., the beloved and world-renowned maker of toys, is proud to introduce the Young Geniuses program and embrace the science of the future alongside you. Join Elliot Ludwig as the best and brightest minds seek to tackle the universe's most unanswerable questions." And now I can't really read those last couple words, but for some reason, Elliot Ludwig, the CEO of Playtime Co., really wants a lot of young people that are geniuses. Maybe this was for the invention of the smiling critters, or the Nightmare Critters. Maybe these were the people that they were going to turn the bigger body Nightmare Critters into, like how Catnap was a kid named Theodore, and maybe these young geniuses are going to be the Nightmare Critters. But now before I move on in this video, with all the Chapter 4 ARG photos, I want to talk about the Chapter 1 anniversary videos we just got. So Mob Entertainment on Twitter, because yesterday was Poppy Playtime Chapter 1's 3-year anniversary, they posted 2 videos revealing lots about the game, and what it was like early into production. So this first one's really quick, it's only a couple seconds long, and it looks like Huggy Wuggy's walking through a vent, and we're looking down at him and he's looking up at us. Maybe this was a scrap scene in the vent chase scene, but this next video looks like a completely different game, so if Mob Entertainment decided to go with this one, Poppy Playtime would have been a whole different thing. And now this could have just been a placeholder for what they were going to do in Chapter 1, but it looks like we're inside of a house instead of a Playtime Co. factory. Maybe Playtime Co. wasn't even going to exist in the first iteration of Poppy Playtime. And we can see something in the top that says 0 out of 10 shards. So maybe Poppy Playtime was going to be something similar to Slenderman, where you would have to collect a certain amount of an object, and that's how you would end up beating the game, not killing Huggy Wuggy. And speaking of him, he looks super small in this clip, so maybe he wasn't always meant to be a 20-foot monster, maybe he was supposed to be small at one point. And now I have one more photo of the Poppy Playtime Chapter 1 3-year anniversary, and Mob Entertainment said, very first concept art of Huggy as we know him today. And it shows off a bunch of different drawings of Huggy Wuggy's poses and what he could have done in Chapter 1, like some different running animations. This one looks like he's hugging you, and let me know which one of these was your favorite and which one you would have liked to see in Chapter 1. But now, going back to the Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 ARG photos, here's our next one, and I think I might know who that is in the picture. I think that whatever that is the prototype. I saw some people on Twitter say that this looks like a Five Nights at Freddy's endoskeleton, which I can kind of see, but this is why I think it's the prototype. Obviously, the only thing we've ever saw of the prototype is one hand, and this character looks super skinny, and obviously the prototype has claws, but from this photo we can't really see if he does or not. And we can also see that he only has one arm and there's no other arm on his other side. So maybe the prototype actually does only have one arm and that's why they keep showing it. So maybe this was our first actual glimpse of what the main villain of Poppy Playtime looks like. And this next photo also has to do with the last one, and you may not notice anything at first. It may just look like a random photo that's super bright red and orange. But what I see here is a human ribcage. Maybe this has something to do with the prototype, but it was also connected to the last photo. So maybe this photo is also part of the prototype's body, or maybe this is Playtime Co. doing tests on people to turn them into monsters. And now this next photo is just an eyeball. There's not really much to say about it, other than the fact that it looks a lot like Poppy's eye. In one of the first ever VHSs for Poppy Playtime, we saw the making of Poppy, and one of her most recognizable and popular traits is her giant human eyes. And when everyone talks about them, they talk about how weird and human they look. So maybe this is either just Poppy's eye, or this is a whole different character. Maybe one of the Nightmare Critters, but I feel like their eyes would just be like catnaps. But now this next photo is a lot more interesting than the last, because it's actually another note. But the thing is, a couple of the words at the end are cut off, so I'm going to fill in what I think belongs in those spaces. It's a bunch of different sentences from one of the Playtime co-workers, we're not really sure who, but here's what it says. Sawyer is quick to remind us that this whole thing is one bad day away from a catastrophe, and I cannot tell at all what that says, but then under it, it says, or possibly dead. So I think what they're referring to here is the experiments going on with the people and children, where if one bad day happens and someone finds out what's really going on at Playtime Co., it will be a catastrophe with people getting arrested, Playtime Co. shutting down. But anyways, the next paragraph says, we take the work seriously, and I don't think the safety of our co-workers or the integrity of them, it's become somewhat of an inside joke. And then it looks like something was cut out because next it just says, or we'll split a coffee in the break room. But I'm pretty sure what this means is that Playtime Co. doesn't really care what happens to their employees, and the safety of them is not their top priority. And then at the bottom it says, macabre, possibly, I'd argue it beats the, and then it cuts out. And if you guys don't know what that word means, macabre, let me just read off the definition. Macabre, adjective, disturbing and horrifying because of involvement or depiction of death and injury. Something that very well fits the Poppy Playtime universe, but to what it actually means, I don't really know. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. I really hope you guys did go on to enjoy it. Let me know which one of these photos from the ARG was your favorite, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.